It is the Matt Mosley Show. Uh, we are off and rolling on this Friday. Hope everybody's getting ready for a big weekend. We've got all sorts of wild card weekend. We got NFL news to share, but we do have breaking news on college football because no, I've voted that down. I voted that down. No, sir. No, sir. That is not. But Kevin has been hard at work looking at different breaking news sounders. I may bring back my old radio sounder, but the NCAA has denied Trinidad Chambliss a 6th year of eligibility, which would end his college career. Decision comes after a verbal denial in December. Ole Miss can still appeal the decision. I believe they will. It is kind of amazing that, certain things, Baylor can bring in a player that was drafted in the NBA, and we're not going to go too far down that path, although we'll talk James Najee when Ashley Hodge joins us, the co-founder of Sicem365, to talk hoops. We'll have a strong hoops discussion with Ashley about the current state of the Baylor men's basketball program. It's looking a little scary right now, the way this conference is open. But we'll have Ashley on at 1:45 today. We'll also have an opportunity today to hear from our friends at Ascension Providence. And Kev, I cannot function without seeing over to my left the good people from Central National Bank. And we'll soon have their new commercials on. In fact, Kev, I need to share that information with Brian Fonville, and we'll get those in the log. Yeah, whatever that means. I don't even know what in the log means, but we'll put it in, and we'll put it on. What is that thing we use, Kev? What's that little platform we use? Open Table, or no, that's something else. That's for dinner reservations. What's that thing we're supposed to be on and we all talk about things at Rogue? What is that? Open Spaces? You know what I'm talking about. It's where Matthew puts stuff. Anyway, no big deal.
Base Camp.
Base Camp. I've always wanted to get invited to Base Camp. Nobody's ever invited me in there. I think they think I would. Yeah.
My advice is stay out as long as possible.
I would love to be invited into Base Camp and just kind of see what happens there.
It's like I told my son the other day. It's like shaving. You want to do it. You can't wait to do it. And then when you figure out you have to do it all the time, you wish you didn't have to.
Yeah.
And I just stopped.
That's what I was saying. I don't know why he would listen to you about shaving or haircuts or any advice on that end. He's going to grow up thinking everybody's supposed to look like Grizzly Adams. It is Kevin Hall. Hoosier Hall with us. Who's your daddy? It is as Indiana Hoosiers get ready to face Oregon in a rematch tonight at 6:30. We'll have plenty on that. And so we got a lot to get to today. But that breaking news on Trinidad Chambliss coming off an incredible game last night. The Hurricanes take down Ole Miss 31-27. I think I ended up having kind of mixed feelings on this. The people in my family, I've got an Aggie daughter. I think the Aggies wanted Miami to win because they beat A&M, and you want the team to beat you to go on and do good things because maybe in some weird sort of world that makes you look better. A&M was obviously, that was a one-score game till very late, and it was always a one-score game. I mean, it was a tie game, and they lose that game 10-3. And by the way, welcome to our large Twitter audience. We'll hit on a lot today. We got Baylor. Yesterday we had some really good stuff from Sam Conn Jr. I saw that thing got tons and tons of downloads and views, but we got a lot to cover today as we get you ready for the CFP game tonight. And then, of course, these wild card games, the wild card weekend in the NFL. We'll look at some of those games. And then for our Cowboys crowd, I did want to bring you up to date on who the Cowboys have requested to interview for the defensive coordinator position. Now, we do need to react to last night's unbelievable game, and I promise you I will I will go over all of that. But I like the fact that the Cowboys have reached out and asked for permission from the Denver Broncos to speak to Jim Leonhard. That is their associate, that's their assistant head coach and the former defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. He was an NFL player himself. And boy, looking at some of the things that he does, it checks a lot of boxes. A tremendous teacher, tremendous communicator, young guy, I think energetic. I think the players would kind of feed off that. So the first 3 defensive coordinator interview requests the Cowboys have made, and I'm trying to think who had this first. A lot of people out there. I'm reading from Nick Harris, but Todd Archer and Clarence Hill, John Machota, all my good friends that cover the Cowboys. A lot of those guys, Bobby Belt, had this news. Broncos pass game coordinator Jim Leonhard, Vikings pass game coordinator Durante Jones, and the Browns safeties coach Ephraim Banda. All right, and so Browns safeties coach Ephraim Banda has come up under Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz, a longtime friend of mine. He is the Cleveland Browns defense coordinator. The Cowboys did ask to speak to Jeff Ulbrich, and even though the head coach there was fired by the Falcons, Raheem Morris, the Falcons have denied that request. Now, maybe they'll take the denial off as the Falcons get ready to hire a new head coach. But for now, they're pinning down that defensive staff and not allowing them to visit. I understand why they would do it. It seems kind of wrong, quite honestly, to do it that way. But there are the 3 people the Cowboys have come out and asked. And, of course, Vikings pass game coordinator Durante Jones has been working under Brian Flores. And, again, what you want is someone that's maybe had some play calling experience, somebody you like their philosophy, and somebody that is a tremendous teacher. Leonhard fits a lot of those in his time at Wisconsin. They had over his, 6 years of calling defensive plays at Wisconsin under a variety of, maybe a couple of head coaches there. I'm trying to think back who all was at Wisconsin, but and he was the interim coach for a little bit, interim head coach. But from a defensive play calling standpoint and the way he ran a defense at Wisconsin, he would have followed, if you go back far enough, he would have followed not long after Dave Aranda was there. And Dave Aranda was there, and then Dave Aranda came to LSU, and then Dave Aranda won a national title at LSU in 2019. Leonhard, from a communication standpoint, the takeaways he had there over that 6-year period, they were top 5 in the country in takeaways. And then he's been helping out the Denver Broncos. And, of course, the play caller there at Denver is Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph, defense coordinator for the Broncos, will get to interview. Remember, Denver coming in strong, the way they played and the way they finished with was it 13-4 or 14-3? 13-4, I believe. The Denver Broncos had an incredible year. And so in the Broncos right now, and you got to look at coaches off the Broncos staff, Mike Vrabel's staff with the Patriots, both those teams, unbelievable seasons. And boy, some first-time head coaches had incredible runs this year, including the guy Jacksonville, Liam Cohen, who came over from Tampa. It was the Tampa offensive coordinator. Tampa fell off this year with Liam Cohen gone, and Ben Johnson left Detroit, the offensive coordinator there. Detroit falls off, and those guys had an incredible first year, and as first-time head coaches, they've gotten off to great starts. And, of course, we'll see Packers at Bears Saturday night. We'll be talking about that wild card schedule, but I wanted to open up with kind of the latest on the Cowboys, and then I think and Kevin and Kevin is knows to break in if there's any sort of more NFL breaking news. Even Kevin, you might think this is small, but I would say anybody new we hear about for a Cowboys defensive coordinator, nothing is too small. Any name mentioned, so always break in. while I'm on here talking and talking. I'm not really that great at multitasking. So to look at my, it would be very distracting for me to look at all my Twitter while I'm trying to talk and visit with you. So while I'm doing all this, Kevin is checking all that out. Now, Dolphins did go ahead and fire Mike McDaniels, their head coach. They had looked a little bit better down the stretch there. The thought is they were already looking at John Harbaugh. I'll take you on a reminder down memory lane a little bit. Around 2011, Tony Sparano was the head coach of the Dolphins, and the owner of the Dolphins, Steve Ross, is a huge Michigan man, and so he flew out to California. Harbaugh was the head coach at Stanford at the time, to try to visit with Jim Harbaugh, and boy, that really got under the skin of Tony Sparano. Understandably, Sparano had actually gotten off to a pretty good start with the Dolphins, and really Ross undermined him, and then didn't really understand why that bothered Sparano so much, because Steve Ross and some of these billionaire owners are sort of clueless when it comes to reading the room. And then by the next season, I don't know, halfway through the next season, he had fired Tony Sparano. And obviously we know kind of what the Dolphins have done since then. They've had several coaches, including they brought in Brian Flores at one point. That turned into a mess. Flores even sued the NFL over it. And then they followed that up with Mike McDaniels, who was interesting and had his moments and put up big numbers as a play caller and a head coach, but in a strange man, a strange leader, the way he carries himself. It's okay to be strange. I mean, Mike Martz in the Greatest Show on Turf, when he was with the Rams and even as a play caller, once you get labeled a genius, it kind of sticks with you. But Martz was an extremely sort of weird in the way he presented things and just being around him. And I think Mike McDaniels, the coach of the Dolphins, is exactly the same way. That said, much like Dan Quinn when he got fired by the Falcons a few years ago, Eberflus when he got fired from the Bears, these guys, when they get fired, they become like immediately great candidates for coordinator spots. And I think any team that has an offensive coordinator opening would be looking at Mike McDaniels as a possibility there. Now, I think what we'll do, Kev, if it's okay with you, why don't we, especially with Ashley coming up at 1:45, when we break at like 1:30, here in about 15 minutes, why don't we do our interview during that break with our friends at Ascension Providence. All right. And let's keep that C&B thing up there, by the way. I love it. I love when I see Central National Bank up there. I just like it to stay a lot of times there. Our presenting sponsor and the incredible folks there at Central National Bank. And then obviously our others, Cherry Johnson, Siegmund James, the law firm Schmaltz's, and Ascension Providence. In fact, we're going to do a show from the Ascension Providence campus coming up soon. Kevin, I hope I'm not just breaking that news to you, but it's okay if I am. We'll work it out. That's right. Kevin's shocked. Well, we're going to be on the campus. We're going to be on the campus, Ascension Providence. So, Kevin, about when I break here at about 1:30 in about 15 minutes. During that break, we will play that final interview with Ascension Providence that Scotty Swingler pulled off for us. And that'll be exciting. And then I want to remind everybody at 1:45, especially our Baylor audience, state of the Baylor men's basketball program, state of the with DJ Lagway coming in and in that edition, lots to talk about with the co-owner and founder of Sicem365 and my longtime friend Ashley Hodge. We'll get into all of that. Now, last night's game, let's discuss. I mean, it was I was honestly I'm just trying to think of, in the game before, by the way, Georgia and Ole Miss was a great game, but in terms of just knock them down, drag out, fun hits, incredible defense, great quarterback play, great running backs, big plays in the run game. I thought last night had it all, and in fact, is one of my favorite CFP playoff games. I've been to some. I've wanted Baylor to get in, and they obviously got close in 2014. And then actually had some great teams in 2019, 2021, where they finished up there around the top 5, top 6 in the country. But that's exactly what you want in a game. And we had the breaking news earlier that Trinidad Chambliss, the NCAA has denied, I didn't think they could deny anything, his request for a 6th season with Ole Miss. Means Ole Miss is going to be in the market for it. Now, they'll appeal this, and they'll keep trying to fight this, and they'll hold him a spot, but they got to go find a quarterback. And now, by the way, if you're Baylor and you're worried that DJ Lagway hadn't signed his deal, yeah, it is worrisome when you know there are other gigs out there. LSU, we think maybe Sam Levitt will end up there, but it's you want to get this DJ Lagway. The family's committed. The family's kind of broken the news out there. So I think everything's okay. I think it's fine, but I understand. I understand why Baylor fans would be a little bit leery, and especially with Ole Miss now having an opening at quarterback. Now, Ole Miss is very familiar with DJ Lagway. Ole Miss just had huge success with a guy from Division II. So I think some of these lower level quarterbacks, Ole Miss will at least take a peek. Doesn't mean that's exactly the way they'll go again, but it worked out beautifully with Trinidad Chambliss. But he is out now. Last night, throws for 277. Kewan Lacey had that great run early to put them up 7-3 in about a 73-yard run. And then, unfortunately, he tweaked something on that run in his lower leg and had to wear a sleeve and was out for a couple of quarters, and then made it back and really gave them a tough performance in the fourth quarter. I was impressed with both teams. Prince, can't remember how to say his last name, the defensive end of Ole Miss. I thought Ole Miss's cornerbacks at times, I thought the defensive backs for both teams made huge hits. I thought the linebacker play, I just thought both teams, and now we got to figure out what is targeting. I thought the guy 29 for Ole Miss was going to be out of the game for sure. It was forcible contact to the head. He came in, makes the hit, leads with his helmet. I'm like, okay, that kid's gone. They say, no, it's not targeting. All right. So he stays in the game. Later in the game, there's a similar play, and it's a helmet to helmet. And did the guy launch himself or come into it? I guess he just kind of ran in there and made a hit. That guy was gone. That guy was out of the game. I think that was the Miami player at that point who was sent packing. We got to figure out targeting. We thought we kind of knew. You got to launch. It's forcible contact to the head or neck area. Then you're ejected from the game. We kind of thought we had and then this year we really don't know. We really don't know what it is. The same thing like with sometimes the catch rules in the NFL. What is a football move? Okay, how long is it before there's a fumble? All of that. I thought one of the great plays that was ruled a non-catch was Malachi Toney last night going up on the sideline, makes a gorgeous catch, and then somehow these guys that in the air make the decision to get their other foot down. He almost pulled it off. I think it's probably the right call. I think his foot probably was on the sideline. But wow, both these quarterbacks played great. Carson Beck, I think Trinidad Chambliss ends up as just, he put up. We'll see what Fernando and Dante do tonight, but Trinidad will remember him for one of the great college football seasons really ever. He's just brilliant. He keeps plays alive. He makes throws downfield. He makes good decisions. He can run. He can get away. Both quarterbacks made some tough decisions last night. I thought I thought, I mean, the best team won that game. I mean, in my mind, Miami was favored to win that game. By kickoff, it was down to 3. They were favored by 3. I thought, Kev, that the possession time was like unbelievable. It was like literally in the end. Well, let's see. You only have 60 minutes in the game. I mean, it was like at one point I looked up and it was something crazy, like 31 minutes to 11 minutes. I mean, even the second half, the first half was just Miami had the ball almost the whole time. And then the second half, I thought that was brilliant of Cristobal to come out, and they went like 10 or 11 straight runs. They go all the way down the field, running the ball right down and you could tell Ole Miss was tired, and that quarterback, or that running back is so good. Mark Fletcher Jr., Big Mark, we lost him. His father he lost, and that was kind of a touching story that I heard about in a previous game.
Time of possession was 41 to 29. 41 minutes Miami had the ball. And then Ole Miss was still able to score 27 points.
41, that doesn't work out. 41 to 29.
Sorry, 19.
41 to 19.
My
okay.
Bad. Yep.
You said my brain started. I'm like, wait, what?
No, it was such a small number. I couldn't even get it.
Yeah, because when you said 29, I'm like, I didn't know they had that much.
That's crazy.
41 to 19. And it's like, I guess Ole Miss was able, because when you think about it, they dominated. And you're like, well, how was Ole Miss able to stay in that game? Well, that 173-yard touchdown was basically like a one-play drive, right? They were scoring quickly. Now, it's amazing that they had a chance to win when they had to kick all those field goals. Miami controlled the clock, ran the ball like crazy. That other guy, Kev, what's the other guy, since you're so good with names? Brown? What's the other running back for Miami? He's good too. Number 6. Man, they stuck him in there, and he's really good. And then I was really
Charmar Brown.
I like that guy.
What a name.
He had about 55 yards or 56 yards. He was good. He was running hard. They let him have one of those touchdowns down there by the goal line. Let me tell you one thing while you're with me, Kev. Let me sound off on a few play calls. And right. Baylor's not above this. I'm sure they've done this before too. When you have these massive O-lines, and I think, is it Miami's guy that's the left tackle? It's like 6'9", 345. I mean, these guys are massive. And you got these great running backs. Don't get cute. Don't feel like you got to go into Wildcat. A&M did that sometimes this year with Colin Klein. Like, there's this thought, and I know some teams are better at it than others, but especially when you get down to the goal line. I mean, these guys, you're asking your running back to catch the ball, and then, so you're adding a whole different step other than what they're used to doing, which is being handed the football and put it right in their gut. I love both running games, but Miami's especially, it's just like they weren't even doing anything that crazy with the running game. Literally, they would have like a little tiny fake, and like Carson Beck would come back the other direction on the handoff. It wasn't even that big of a fake. It was like literally just kind of an interesting little counter is what they were running. And that was just smash mouth. Our guys are tougher and bigger than your guys, and we got this great back. And all he would do is, and it's so smart, more teams should do this. I saw Baylor do this a few years ago with great success with like Abram Smith and Treston Ebner, some of those guys when they had them. But now that they allow these, and maybe someday there'll be a rule where they don't allow this, but for now, they let these huge linemen, it's the whole tush-push concept. They let them get behind you and shove you, and all you do, Fletcher, just keep when you're huge and you got great balance and all that, just stay on your feet and let those dudes push you for about 10 more yards.
I was watching the Field Pass broadcast with Pat McAfee, and he had A.Q. Shipley on there on the sideline when one of the times that Miami got, and it was the Wildcat where they came up short, and A.Q. Shipley was like, this is the time where those linemen, this is their time to shine. And they just want you to hand the ball off and we'll take care of the rest. Yeah. That's it. Don't make it complicated.
Like later, I was wondering why Miami. You remember when Prince and there was another. I like some of those linebackers. And I like some of those defensive backs. Like, I know he got burned sometimes and he got called for too many pass interferences, but 32 Graves. I mean, guy made some plays. He made some plays on the ball. But I didn't understand. Miami had just dominated the line of scrimmage, the clock, and then like 2 straight plays, Beck gets sacked. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, how are you ending up in like 3rd and 22? Now, what's crazy is they would get in like a 2nd or 3rd and 22 and then get like 17 or 18 yards on a screen. They got a touchdown on a middle screen. Malachi Toney is awesome. I mean, that guy is kind of like a Tyreek Hill. You know, he kind of looks like him. He's kind of built like him in terms of like speed, just sleight of frame. He may be a little smaller actually than Tyreek, but he's got similar speed. And on that middle screen that he broke for a touchdown, like he was almost going to fall down, you know, and he somehow kept his feet. And it's not most times anybody stumbling is going to get caught. He's so fast. His stumbling was fast. You know what I mean? He was stumbling around, and he still got. I mean, that guy was big in all these games. I mean, he almost lost them the A&M game with a huge fumble, and yet then he scored the game-winning touchdown against A&M. And then I thought that middle screen, I thought he was awesome on. And then I don't want to get these players mixed up. The tight end for Ole Miss is good. I can't remember his number. Is it number 4 or number like 83? Anyway, whoever that tight end is a nice player, and he came up big in that game for Ole Miss. Ole Miss's receivers were just like every one of them. And then on the Miami end of things, Keelan, who was 0?
Keelan Marion.
That guy was awesome.
Daquan Wright for the tight end for number 8. Yep.
Daquan Wright?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's great for Ole Miss, and he made a big play, and that was a great touchdown he had. The play calling was so good. Like I like all those play callers. The kind of intellectual looking dude for Miami, he had those kind of cool glasses, kind of like I try to have. Look at here, Kevin. This is when I put these on is when I really start saying very smart things. Uh-huh. He kind of had these on. He has that interesting look about him. He looks like a guy to be on like NPR or something, but he's just over there calling really interesting and good plays. And then on the Ole Miss side, I'm trying to think who Ole Miss's play caller is. That was the guy that's going to LSU. So they had Charlie Weiss Jr. and then obviously Pete Golding Jr. is calling him on the other side. I felt bad for Golding. I felt bad for Trinidad. They had such great chances. I thought Golding handled his team beautifully for most of the game, most of the season, and you could just see it in his face. It's like it was almost like, it reminded me of one of those Super Bowls, like the end of the famous one was where the Patriots picked off Russell Wilson down at the goal line. So on that play down there by the goal line where you got to have it.
That was the same stadium.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
And the same stadium as the helmet catch.
Okay, I was at the helmet catch game in the press box for that one. David Tyree, right?
Yeah. Right. And it was the same place that Pat McAfee played in the Fiesta Bowl.
Those are some fun nuggets. And I liked when Pat McAfee, they showed him like with his old coach at the Fiesta Bowl, like interviewing him, and he was already calling it the Pat McAfee show when he was still a punter, and he was interviewing his quarterback, Pat White, who was the second round.
He was the
kicker and punter?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And he looks he doesn't look that much different than he does now. And he was obviously very funny. I don't always, some of that's a little bit much for me, but I remember I'm not saying I discovered Pat McAfee, but like they randomly, people don't remember this, they randomly would put him like on a Big 12, like almost like an ESPN Plus game as the third guy, calling games. And I remember hearing him and going, okay, at first it was off-putting because it's like, okay, this guy's trying too hard. And then you're kind of like, but it's kind of funny. But that was early days. And then he kind of blew up on the YouTube and all that stuff.
Yep.
Kind of like what we're going to do, Kev. Just, this thing is going to become a juggernaut. Okay, we do have, let me look at my, okay. We got Ashley Hodge coming up at 1:45. I'll have more reaction on this game. And then in the 2:00 hour, we'll get way into the prep for Indiana and Oregon. And I'll say, and I know, Kevin, you're going to have a lot of knowledge to share on this one. I saw something, and I'd kind of forgotten this from that first game, if I knew it at the time. Indiana wins that game 30-20. Probably should have been more, but Fernando threw a pick six in that game. It was at Oregon. And Dante Moore in that game on throws of 7 yards or more was like 4 for 13 for just like nothing. I mean, they were not getting the ball down the field. And you have got to hit some explosive plays if you're Oregon. You don't really have much at running back in this game. They do have some talented wide receivers. And again, heroes are sort of made. I mean, whatever Kevin was just telling us, Keelan, the guy, I keep forgetting his last name. He, that guy had been a nice receiver most of the season for Miami, but it was Malachi Toney getting all the attention. That dude last night, 0 for Miami, ends up with 114 yards. I had to laugh on one of those huge plays, a touchdown. Oh, Beck runs that touchdown in at the end. That's the thought I didn't complete, was because it kind of reminded you of one of those goal line plays, almost like Vince Young running for a touchdown. Carson Beck, they did a great job of defending all those routes, and then Carson Beck runs that thing in the backside. And I saw a replay of somebody had in the officials in the back of the end zone, the field judge trying to get back there and give the touchdown sign, and Michael Irvin runs in front of him. You could tell the guy's like, dude, who is this? Why is there? And he's like, well, I guess it's Michael Irvin. I guess he can kind of do what he wants. Irvin needs to freaking chill out. He's a great friend. I've known him for a long time, but it's a little bit much for like a 60-year-old man to be jumping around and doing.
You think of him. You think of like, you compare Mike McDaniel day one versus the last day and what he looked like. Miami does some weird stuff to people. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, Michael has been like that forever. So he's just so enthusiastic, but there's something weird about like a 60-year-old man or whatever he is, 59-year-old, being that much of a cheerleader on the sideline. But people love it because it's Michael. And so whatever. I may try to get Michael. We'll get Michael on here soon. He's fun. He's a fun guy to have on. I had him on for many years. In fact, he and I worked together at ESPN 103.3. All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. At 1:45, we're going to have Ashley Hodge, co-founder of Sicem365. But also during this break leading up to that, we've got something we're going to do with Ascension Providence. And we're so grateful for our partnership with Ascension Providence, but it's an interview with one of their doctors, and we're going to run that during this. And then I want you to stay tuned. Ashley Hodge and I break down Baylor basketball, and we talk about one of the great days for Baylor football in a long time. And it was yesterday, and we react to the addition of DJ Lagway and kind of what it means to Baylor. All of that stuff coming up next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on the screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner, overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
I welcome you back to the Matt Mosley Show. Scotty Swingler here. So delighted today to be joined by another Matt, this time Dr. Matt Patillo of Ascension Providence. He is a doctor of pulmonary critical care. Dr. Patillo, thank you so much for joining us today on the Matt Mosley Show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Scotty.
Okay, so Dr. Patillo, on the Matt Mosley Show, we cover sports, and maybe nothing more important to an athlete than the ability to breathe. So, whether it's the fact that, we've participated in athletics before and we understand this, or even anybody watching at home understands the feeling of, climbing up the stairs with something heavy, right? Yeah. I climb all 21 floors at the Alico building every single day to get to work. That's a lie, by the way. So lung care is important, but kind of just let's have an open-ended conversation here. Cause if I just say lung care, what does that even look like? How would you start? What do I need to know about caring for my lungs?
Sure. So we have an office right outside the hospital there at Providence. We have a clinic, and we see all comers in the lung clinic. The most common thing that patients come in with, especially athletes and people who are active, is they're short of breath. Everybody's short of breath or they're coughing. And so it's kind of our job to kind of figure out what exactly is causing that. Is it pulmonary related? Is it cardiac related? Is it neuromuscular? So we have to kind of go through the different processes of trying to figure that out. So that's one of the main things that we do there in the office.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm curious about is specifically recovery. And we've talked about this with other doctors, whether it's for concussions or for a traumatic, like a ligament injury. But I don't think a lot of people think of recovery for their lungs. Generally in a traditional sports injury, it's take a week off and rest and you'll get better. What does recovery look like for the lungs specifically?
So it depends on what you have, and it also kind of depends on the physical fitness of the patient. And so most commonly, younger people, athletes, are going to get what most of us get. They're going to get upper respiratory infections, whether they be viral or bacterial. It's going to run its course, take them 3 to 5 days, maybe up to a week to get better, and then they can get kind of back into whatever that they were doing. So we also see a lot of kind of, asthma is very common. Asthma is actually more common in the younger population in athletes. And so about 10% of the population has asthma, and one of the triggers for asthma a lot of times is exercise. And so people get out there, they're huffing and puffing, they're going and blowing, and they get short of breath. A lot of that is people that have asthma, but there's also a good chunk of people who don't have asthma, but they get really short of breath whenever they're exercising, and they actually have something called exercise-induced bronchospasm. So they don't have asthma, but they're out there running and they get short of breath and they can't really do what they used to do. So we deal a lot with those types of patients and getting them kind of diagnosed and back out there into the game after they're appropriately treated and diagnosed. So we do a lot of that.
So I've noted you've already mentioned a couple of times here, like depending upon someone's fitness level or lung health level, obviously like affects recovery or injury or whatever. So I'm curious, as just like a normal person, what can I do to improve my lung health?
Exercise. Exercise is the most important thing to do. Any type of exertion, aerobic activity, getting that heart rate up, getting that respiratory rate up. And not only it's not important what you can do, is what you shouldn't be doing. And that's, I couldn't do this without having a little poi on smoking and vaping. So seriously though, a lot of the younger people, the vaping is big now. Smoking is still big. It's not quite as big as maybe it was when you and I were growing up, but that's a big component of people's lung health. And when they're vaping or they're smoking and they're getting out there on the athletic field or they're going to the track or they're running, that can affect your breathing. So really important not to be doing those things if you want to kind of stay in that tip-top shape.
So I want to dive in deeper into something here. And we talked beforehand, like I've worked in ministry with young people. And so I've seen up close the prevalence of vaping. And, it's interesting, Dr. Patillo, because, I think when vaping was introduced, it was kind of seen as this like healthier alternative to traditional cigarettes or smoking, right? And you've already mentioned a couple of times that it can be harmful. And so I wonder if you'd go a little deeper on that. And I'm not here to condemn anyone for your lifestyle choices or if you vape, like that's up to you. But I would like to hear more from you, Dr. Patillo, about maybe the harms of vaping. So if anybody watching has a son or a daughter, if anybody watching does vape, maybe they're a little more aware of how vaping specifically can affect lung performance or athletic performance.
So there's so much about vaping, I think, that we don't really know, that we're kind of slowly starting to learn. And so a lot of the different vaping apparatuses that you're vaping, we don't know exactly what's in them, so to speak. I mean, some of them we do, some of them we don't. But what it's causing in these patients a lot of times is an inflammatory reaction of the lung. And so they're coming in short of breath. And if you actually do imaging of these patients, CT scans, where there's supposed to be air within the lung, there's a lot of haziness in the lung. There's a lot of inflammation there that really impairs their breathing. And so it doesn't happen to everybody. And there's a lot of people who vape that will never have any trouble, but you don't know if you're going to be that one person that vapes and has issues. And so we've certainly seen quite a bit of vaping induced issues in our office, not just with athletes, obviously, but with all comers. And so it's not an uncommon thing to see now as vaping becomes more prevalent.
But it's interesting because there are factors that we choose, whether it's vaping, smoking, right? But also I don't know, when I'm starting to think about lungs, I'm thinking about things like air quality, right? Like I open the weather app on my iPhone and I'm just trying to see if it's chilly enough to put on a sweater, right? And it's giving me the air quality index. So there's environmental factors that are out of my control, maybe to consider as well when I'm thinking about my lung health. Could you talk a little more about maybe some of those outside factors and how all these things play together to affect our health?
Very important. So paying attention to that. A lot of people with asthma and airway or exercise-induced bronchospasm have a lot of allergies. So when the allergen levels are high, kind of knowing what your triggers are. So some people know when the ragweed is high, I always seem to have a stuffy nose or I always seem to cough. Those are triggers where if the ragweed is high one day or the tree pollen is high one day, maybe not to go out and play that recreational soccer game or not to go on that run. If you want to go on that run, maybe staying indoors that day and doing it on a treadmill. So kind of really paying attention to the allergen levels. And then just in a big city, Waco, we're not a huge city here, but for those people who are in a big city, smog's a big deal. So running downtown in a smoggy environment is going to be tough on the lungs, tougher than it would be if you had clean air.
Yeah, that's interesting. And could you explain, we've got a lot of viewers for the Mosley Show in Dallas, Fort Worth. And, I don't know if Dallas, Fort Worth is as smoggy or like bad air quality as some other cities I could name, like Houston. Excuse me. But, I feel like that sort of thing is not something I'm going to notice after like one run. Like I go on one jog in Dallas, I'm not going to notice the air quality, but maybe that's something that accumulates or I notice over time. Could you just explain how that works, just a little more, how it affects our health?
Fortunately, a lot of this exercise-induced asthma or exercise-induced bronchospasm, it's reversible. So when you're outside and you're in the elements, you may have a problem. Once you're indoors and away from that, it should all reverse and go away. So there's probably not a lot of long-term effects from some of this being outside in the short term. But it's definitely going to affect your performance and your peak performance when you're out doing it at that time. Stay active. If you're out there and you're short of breath and you can't run, a lot of people will say, I just can't run, or I can't do this or that. It may be that you've got some type of underlying issue that's maybe simple to fix. You may have a little airways induced bronchospasm, or maybe you've got asthma. So see the doctor, see me. There's 3 other people in our office. We've got nurse practitioners, or see wherever your doctor is, go see him and ask questions and try to get some help.
There's treatment for this.
There's treatment for this. There's definitely treatment for this, but stay active. The number one thing you can do for your health is to be active and don't smoke.
Man, there's the message right there. Let's keep it simple. I think we can all commit to that, especially going into this new year. Well, Dr. Matt Patillo, thank you so much for joining us. And I know you said go to your doctor wherever you are, but with the Matt Mosley Show, we are with Ascension Providence all the way. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Scotty. I really appreciate it.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned. This is the Matt Mosley Show.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From a trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by. Let's be friends.
It is the Matt Mosley Show, and we're off and rolling, getting ready for CFP, hopefully another great game tonight. And this is, without further ado, and appreciate Ascension Providence. I hope Ashley was able to kind of pick up on some health tips there. Great doctors there, very talented staff. And we are proud to bring on Ashley Hodge. There he is. Oh, man.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Ashley. I don't know when we can stop saying that. But I think so. Ashley's at his working desk. It's a good angle that he has there. And he's although very relaxed. I like that. It's kind of casual Friday, a beautiful looking golf shirt there. How is your golf game? You're more of a pickup basketball guy. When's the last time? But you also have very, very wealthy clients who probably from time to time would like to get you out to the golf course. Do you still make it out there? And how is your golf game?
It's non-existent. Fun fact, I've never actually played a round of golf in my life. I've been to the driving range. I've done some putt-putt, but I navigate towards the basketball courts whenever I get a chance, or some Camp Gladiator, or some running, or some weighted vest activity. That's my exercise.
Yeah.
Occasional pickleball player. I've done some pickleball.
Nothing gets me more excited than seeing folks out in their weighted vest. And I provide my own weight. I really don't need the vest. I've got a lot weighing me down these days, but we're going to battle that. now that the holidays are over. You're staying in great shape, so good for you. Ashley Hodge with us. Ashley, I'm going to be talking to Doug McNamee soon. Not today, but coming up, and that's going to be fun, and I'll be able to catch up with him. I got to say, before we dive into Baylor basketball, from what you, because you talk to people very up high at Baylor, and you get to talk to a lot of really fun people from the Baylor administration as well. What would you say, Doug, has been like? What's been his biggest focus in this like first month on the job? Because I think we'll start kind of finding more out of like, okay, what's Doug been up to? What are the biggest initiatives? I bet he's meeting with a ton of people.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if you've met with him. But what do you think Doug's been up to so far, and what do you think's his biggest point of emphasis as he gets going? I would imagine fundraising and finding more revenue has to be at the top of his list.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the number one job of an athletic director these days. I've exchanged some text messages with him. Got on a short call with him a week ago or so, but yeah, I think he's just building relationships, renewing relationships, assuring people that work at Baylor, that this is my plan, this is my vision for Baylor athletics. I think he's got a plan, and I think he's going to try to execute his plan, and hopefully Baylor fans will be supportive of him. I've been on record saying I think it's a terrific hire. I know it's got some risk, but I think he's going to rise to the occasion and do an outstanding job. So I'm rooting for him to do well, and obviously got to get football right. We got to get men's basketball headed in the right direction, or recalibrated, maybe you can say. But I'm confident he'll be able to do both those things.
Yeah, and I don't know what that looks like for basketball. And before we kind of break in, we start breaking down the team.
This is what it looks like, Matt.
I know. I was going to ask you about, like, I know there have been meetings, and Scott has to, I guess with this roster right now, there's not, other than the James Najee, which hopefully with more practice he helps. But I think we've already gotten our answer. He's not the type. Like, it'd be one thing if they were bringing in a 6'5" dude who scores a ton and injects that kind of energy into the lineup. This guy can help you with rim running and some shot blocking, and that's definitely necessary. But it was probably very unfair to him to make such a huge thing of this and think this guy's going to walk in and like there's going to be some sort of huge transformation. There's a reason he was drafted and then has never made it to the NBA. Obviously, he's still extremely raw. And I found that, by the way, did you happen to watch him? Have you interviewed him yet?
No, not yet.
Did you see any of that deal where he sat down with John Morris?
I did. Yeah, that was a good interview.
He's an interesting guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
In our minds, we kind of know international guys. Now, he's been over for a while.
Right.
But I think that was interesting. Like he had a little bit of some force to him when he was talking about like the people booing him and everything. I thought that was kind of interesting to hear his take on all that. Ashley, it just doesn't seem, and I heard you say it the other night, and you're very optimistic about this team. And again, maybe there's a part of the schedule where they can turn the corner and start winning some games and get on a streak at some point. But as you said on your podcast the other day, they're staring 0-6 in the face. Like
it could happen. I mean, you got to win tomorrow. You got to win tomorrow. You got to split the road trip next week, and that's not easy. And then you got to try to pick off Texas Tech at home. I mean, those are no easy tasks. The Big 12 is brutal, especially at the top with Arizona, Texas Tech, BYU, Iowa State. It seems like the list keeps getting longer and longer of these elite teams. Houston is obviously in there.
Yeah.
Scott may have given some bulletin board material to Arizona and Houston by saying Iowa State and Michigan were the two best teams in the nation. I think Arizona might have an argument that they're up there in that conversation as well. But certainly Houston, as repeating Big 12 champs, is going to have something to say about this title race as well. But Baylor's got to win some of these home games, and I know it's not easy, but you got to win these home games. And I think tomorrow will be a great opportunity for them to really show that they're still a legitimate NCAA team and can be have a factor in this Big 12 race. I don't think they're going to win the Big 12. But,
they can be a factor. They don't. Well, I don't know if they can be a factor, honestly. Let's be honest. No, I'm just saying that right now it's looking like they're about to, be fortunate to be 8th or 9th in this conference.
Yeah.
The game against Iowa State, as you said, and I had tweeted something similar. That game was gettable. The first half, you needed to separate. And you're like, well, wait, that's a great team. And you know what Scott would say to us if we tried to say he was supposed to separate, he would give us, Iowa State's number 3 team in the country, blah, blah, blah. And they do this and they do this and this, that. But they couldn't make anything.
Yeah.
And other than Jefferson, they really didn't have anything going in the that half.
Yeah, Lipston, foul trouble.
Yeah.
Momlikovich, however you say his name, he was not having an effective game. Yeah, that game was there for the taking.
Yeah.
But
then we've seen it too many times, Ashley, like in that middle, whatever we call it, the middle 8 or the middle, whatever we call that, the end of the half and then the start of that second half. And boy, Baylor just it was like they looked up and finally Iowa State came out and had a little something going, right? Yeah. And it was 32-24 just almost immediately. There were 7 points. It just seemed like within like a minute and a half. And you're like, oh, dang, these guys can score. And then Lipsy, who's been there forever, had a big second half. Jefferson just ended up kind of doing everything, scoring, rebounding, and all. A good team. But, I mean, I guess, Ashley, like when you're that bad shooting the ball in your first 2 games and you can't really get into your offense, it honestly, you and Scott are both kind of good about trying to keep the big picture and look at some of the numbers that are positive, which coming into the conference, they had some really positive offensive numbers.
Right.
And Scott would remind me, hey, we started conferences like number 5 in the country as an offense. But in these conference games, they shot the ball horribly. So, which leads me to, I'm just like, I think they can shoot the ball better than this. But right now, one of the issues is they're not even getting that great of shots, right? Yeah. I mean, they got better shots against Iowa State, and they missed a lot of stuff. But, I mean, we can't be 7 games into the season going, Baylor can't get the lid off the basket. Baylor's unlucky. Oh, they're going in and out. Like you can't really say that over like an 8-game stretch.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the biggest concern for me watching that TCU game and Iowa State game live is that like the first 10 seconds, it seemed like of every offensive possession, you're going side to side instead of getting downhill. And then, you're left with a shortened shot clock. You're turning the ball over a little too much. It's leading to bad shot attempts. Now they're doing a good job on the offensive glass, like they always do, getting some second chance opportunities, but they've got to figure out, how to initiate offense more efficiently without having such a struggle, getting into their initial sets. So, we'll watch for that. I mean, Scott's been a phenomenal offensive coach all of his career. I think they'll make some adjustments, but Obi and Isaac have a lot of pressure on them to perform at a high level. And, it's a challenge. I mean, we know there's, Isaac's new, he's a natural point guard. Obi's not really a point guard. He's playing out of position. We expected Rob Wright to be the guy there and kind of got left with a situation where he was thrown into it. But that happens. Every team's got to make adjustments. And, that's what Scott's paid big bucks to do, is figure it out. So I think defensively, they're going to get a lot better. I think James Najee is going to make a huge difference on defense. And I think we've already seen that the first 2 games in conference, but the offense has not lived up to its part of the bargain. And, certainly, if you told me that Iowa State scored 70 and TCU scored 69, I would say we're 2-0 in conference, based on what I saw in non-conference, but neither of those played out.
Is there anything to be done as far as running the offense more through Cam Carr? I don't know if you want to think of him as a point forward, something, but is there maybe, because like, you don't want to panic, but I'm on the verge of it. Like that stuff's not fun to watch.
To your point, like I remember seasons where Scott was able to make adjustments like that. Like I remember, Tweedy was terrific as a point guard and, pretty good in the high ball screen. We're so reliant on that high ball screen. I don't know if we have the personnel to really run that well this year. So what he did, is he got Epi Udo the ball and at that high post, the elbow, and Epi was so good at initiating offense for other people and for himself. So I would love to see that with maybe a Carr, a Tunde, or a Skillings, because I think that's the strength of the team is those wings. And then I think you can bring Obi off of screens, and Obi's had a struggle shooting as we saw against Iowa State. He had a really tough night shooting, but I think he's a capable, guy off of screens, and he, he didn't shoot well against TCU either. So maybe if you change it up a little bit, don't put as much pressure on him to bring the ball up and initiate offense. Maybe that's the solution. I'm sure they're digging into all that. I'm definitely, got to make some adjustments to get some wins. And I think they probably are surprised as anybody that the offense hasn't delivered these first 2 conference games.
To your point, they kind of had to do that with Sohan, didn't they?
Yeah.
He was a guy coming off the bench, and then Everyday John gets hurt, and they start kind of running that offense through Sohan.
I remember that TCU game, going into that TCU game, because Flagler and Cryer were hurt, and I was like, "There's no way we're going to win this game," and that's what they did. They got the ball to Sohan, had him initiate offense, and Baylor won pretty comfortably. So.
I think Popovich watched too much of that film and tried to turn Sohan into a point guard.
Right.
And that was a disaster. And that's why we got to be a little careful with let Cam run the point. Let Tunde run the point.
Right.
Tunde's got enough on his plate, and he's already turning the ball over too much. And you're calling it the right way. I love the kid, but Scott thought he was going to be borderline great on defense. Like he has that capacity, and yet they're getting killed on backdoors. I mean, when I watch other teams do that to us, my first thought is like, let's run some backdoors. Like let's try to actually do that ourselves.
Yeah.
But the other is I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make plays, and they're overplaying stuff. And these other teams are so disciplined. And this is always going to be tough because these are all new players.
Right.
And Lipsey's been there forever. Now, again, look at Arizona. They lost a big man. Again, I spend way too much time being jealous of other rosters.
Sure.
Right. I see what Grant's put together. I see a team lose like Vazar, the big man, and then replace him, and they kind of go with what's his name, Aquar or whatever, the big man at Arizona, and he's kind of a monster. Yeah. And the way these teams are built. Now, what's scary is Houston, who used to build things by getting really good 3 or 4 star recruits and developing them, are now getting one and dones.
Right.
And that Flemings, he plays a different position than Tunde, really. I'm talking about what's his name, Parkston or Parker. Which one is the guard?
Kingston Flemings.
Which
Kingston
one?
Flemings?
Kingston. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm combining all kinds of names.
Yeah.
Kingston Fleming. Like that guy's scary because he's just he changes the pace of the game. They have a point guard, but they also have this kid who can just take over a game. That's a freshman.
Yeah.
And it's like Tunde has moments of that. I don't know. It's just Baylor's going to have to really rethink some things. And when what you said to start this, though, makes sense. You were kind of kidding, but you were also being serious when you did this. They're going to need more money.
Yeah. And
they're going to have to kind of think about like team building and how to put this thing together. And they need more scorers, all of that. Let me ask you this, because you do a great job of kind of monitoring the recruiting for this team. With Monty's kid on the way.
Yeah.
And then Iggy's kid already on the bench redshirting. And then Perez out with an injury, Bodo out with an injury. And then there's the one other kid that's over there.
Maya.
Yeah. Like when you start, I hate to do this 2 games into conference, but I have to, this keeps me sane, thinking about like what they might be able to put together in the future. I've been noticing there's a top recruit that you're kind of monitoring that they've been after. can you walk us through like what this thing could end up looking like moving forward? Because right now, honestly, the guy from Oregon State's not giving them what they need. Ratai, from a shooting standpoint, offensive, he's very slow. He seems kind of limited. Again, you hold out hope for these players, and so I try to take your lead. I mean, I try to feed off you on that. Skillings has really good moments. I love how he attacks the boards, but like they all will just kind of lose their minds at some point during games. Yeah. And he had 2 careless, and really he deserved to be put on the bench for a while. Like he lost his mind in that game and was turning the ball over too much. So I guess what I'm asking, all those guys that are on the bench or on the way, what kind of makings of a team do we have moving forward?
Yeah, I mean it's too early to tell, but let's have fun speculating.
Please.
Dylan Mingo is a guy they're going after, 5-star. He's down to I think Washington, North Carolina, Penn State, Baylor. I think the price may be getting there too far ahead of what Baylor's willing to pay. He's and I'm a little skeptical of freshmen running point guard, in the Big 12. I mean, you see what it takes to really win at the highest level. It seems like everybody has experienced point guards except for Houston with Kingston Flemings, although they do have Milos Uzan back there and Emmanuel Sharp as well. So 2 really experienced guys. But I think that, if Baylor gets Isaac Williams back, I think they're really happy with his progress. Obviously, Iguodala, Elijah Williams is a tremendous prospect. I think he's an immediate contributor on a Big 12 team next year. He may be as good as Tunde or, similar impact, different game, but similar impact. And then you might get Cam Carr back. I mean, I don't think that's a crazy thing to think. I think Cam is in a different position. His dad played in the NBA for quite a few years. I think the family's in a good financial position, so he's not like desperate to take the NBA money right away. So if he's not a lottery pick, I mean, he could come back. I think he really loves Baylor. So obviously got to pay him to get him to retain him.
Yeah.
But then, you get Najee for another year. You get Bodo, hopefully Mayo. So your center position is taken care of. You got to get an impact transfer at the 4, preferably someone that looks a lot like Joshua Jefferson, who can score and shoot threes and big body, can impact the game inside and out. And then you need an impact shooting guard. Somebody can really score as a combo guard and an experienced point guard as well. But if you were to get Carr back, then you're pretty much taken care of at the wing position. And then also, I think Perez is a terrific prospect. He'll be coming off of injury. But they're probably taking care of at wing if you get Carr and Elijah Williams and Perez. But if Carr goes to the NBA, and I'm expecting Tunde to go to the NBA, then you're probably needing to look at another impact, an impact wing for sure that would slide in there, give you something similar to what Carr does from a production standpoint. So that's the makings of a good team. I think it's going to take probably 50% more money than they spent last year to really compete for a championship. But I think the commitment's going to be there.
When you look at Tech and like Iowa State, 2 really good teams, let's take Houston out of it in Arizona for a second. Like what's Otts doing other than getting guys to stick around? But I mean, I would think that Iowa State doesn't have way more money than Baylor.
Yeah, that probably is in their budget. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that Scott and Baylor can learn? I mean, Tech, we think of football, and they're just monstrous in that world. I would say NIL and basketball, I'm not saying they're not good, and they probably paid Toppin a ton.
It's up there.
Yeah. He is good at picking those guys from random places that are scoring 9 or 10 a game, like what we're trying to do with Isaac, what we try to do with Obi. Those dudes all kind of play, and then of course, and Baylor never seems to get this, right? They never get this. They never get the super freshman who stays these days.
Right.
And Christian Anderson is a tremendous young player that can kind of grow with that team.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's you got one of the best point guards in the country and one of the best centers in the country, so that's a good start. They got some depth issues. We'll see how they hold up as the Big 12 grind. I think that's why Najee was so important for Baylor, is just having that eighth guy. Like even Iowa State, they're really only comfortable playing 7 guys. Houston, I think, is only comfortable playing 7 guys. So you get an injury and it could really affect things. Getting that 8th guy for Baylor, Najee should make a big difference for depth and keeping people fresh. And we got to give a shout out to our boy Caden Powell, man. Caden Powell's
yes.
He brought it against Iowa State. He played like a grown man. One of the bright spots to that game was how well he played.
Yeah, I was listening to your podcast, and I was glad you gave Caden some love and had a nice dunk down there. I tell you what he's able to do too. He's a pretty good interior passer.
Yeah.
Our man Najee is limited in that area right now. You can tell he kind of wants to make the right pass, but it'll kind of dribble in there, and it's too easy to get. Caden has been playing college basketball a long time.
Yeah.
And I think anybody that's played at Rice, we're like, smart guy, smart player, but he does play. It's just that he doesn't need to be like the starting center. He would be such a great complimentary guy. And so anyway, right now I spend too much time looking at these other rosters. Anything going on? Oh, by the way, I did want to, on a happy note, how cool is that for the Baylor football program to at least have like a 24 hours of like national coverage for the most part, other than the dreary Baylor fan that says, well, wait, what if we're good and we have to keep Miranda?
What a terrible problem.
But that's a pretty good moment. Now, Sam Conn Jr. was on with me yesterday, and I was kind of trying to fish around for what he was hearing the money was on DJ. And I was watching your boards on Sicem365, and I haven't seen anything real firm. He was guessing somewhere between like 1.5 to 2 million for DJ, which honestly, what I felt like he might get out there is somewhat reasonable. Does that sound along the lines of what you're hearing, or do you think it's a little higher than that?
I don't know. So I hate to speculate. That sounds reasonable to me.
Okay.
I think, the top end guys we know are getting more. I'm like baffled at how much elite wide receivers are going for. I think the very top end of the quarterback chain and the top end of the wide receiver chain is getting crazy money. But everybody else is kind of normalized, I think, and it's leveled out a little bit. So it isn't with the exception of Texas Tech, who's just money whipping everybody. I think it's just a more of a level, situation versus what we feared might happen, where it would just escalate year after year. So that's good news. I think collective bargaining is probably going to be the answer. But I was talking to someone, like in the pros, 49% of the money goes to the players, and right now it's 20% in college. So I don't know if colleges are going to, fight tooth and nail to keep that other 29%, but, or if they can convince the players to settle for something less than that 49-51 split. But, I think it's eventually going to have to come to that, some sort of collective bargaining, salary caps, treat them as employees. That's where it's headed, hopefully, and more of an even playing field for everybody.
It's huge. And I need to let you go, but it's huge that thing happened with the Washington quarterback.
Yeah.
He had to go back there. They actually, a contract seemed to hold up, and that thing got a little ugly out there. But do you think it's too late to try to enforce that Rob Wright contract? I would sue him for everything.
We should sue right before the game, like try to get him ineligible for that game. That would be
by the way, I saw he had 18 the other night. Has he been pretty good? Has he been good for them?
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
On offense, yes. He's not the best defender. Some might say he reminds people of how I play defense. It's defense is for resting. You gotta save your energy on defense. But He's got the Pierre Jackson philosophy of defense.
We would have an interesting matchup because I still get down in the stance and I'll play some D.
All right, I got to see this. I got a game in Waco. We got some guys here in Waco that play every Tuesday, Thursday, so we'll get you out.
Your kids reached out to me and they said, "Hey, is there any way you could talk to Dad? He's spending a little too much time down here in Waco." We're having to visit. Wait, where did I go? Hold on here. Look at this. Look at this. Oh gosh. Okay, buddy. Look at me. I can't do this.
Technological issues.
Oh, look. I'm back. No,
there you go. We see. There you go. We got your face now.
Okay. Yeah, I get so like into the thing that the thing runs away. Okay, Ashley, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Enjoy watching those games, all the wild card games, and then tonight, Indiana. Do you have a pick in that game, Indiana or Oregon?
I want Indiana to win. I think Indiana-Miami would be a fun championship game. So I'll be rooting for Indiana. I'm going to go watch it with my son. I'm in Waco.
Yeah,
so
I can tell you.
To your point, he's probably going to be texting you like, "Hey, can you get Dad back in the DFW?"
Dad needs to. All right. Well, I was thinking of Signetti, and I was trying to like compare that somebody to him, like what he's done at Indiana, and like Brazos was literally like one of the best comparisons. Brazos leading Baylor out of the wilderness and then I guess back into the wilderness. But that was honestly one of the best comparisons, is a guy like that showing up and making a huge impact. Ashley, good stuff. I appreciate it. I'll see you at the next basketball game. Security's pretty tight, so I have a hard time getting down to where you guys are, but I'll wave at you from up in my section, okay?
All right. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
There he goes. Ashley Hodge, co-founder and the managing editor. There's a lot of different titles he holds over there. I got to watch what I say. Colt could get mad at me. But Colt Barber and then Brian Etheridge were kind of the three founding members. Mosley had a brief moment where I was kind of almost in there starting that thing out, and then I spit the bit and didn't quite make it with the four horsemen there. It would have been the four of us, but the three of them have done a really nice job and are good friends. So good to have Ashley on and to hit a lot of those different topics, especially with Baylor basketball being what it is. All right, let's start getting you ready for tonight's Indiana. We got Cowboys news to react to, but let's we got the CFP game tonight. We'll give our pick, and then we actually have a resident Indiana graduate, and he does an Indiana sports podcast that lately has really zeroed in a lot on these Indiana Hoosiers football team. I don't even know if they're still playing basketball there, but they are incredible at football. We'll talk about tonight's game. We'll do that next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. No reputable company or government agency will ever ask you to pay them with gift cards, Bitcoin, or a person-to-person payment app. Scammers use these options because the money can't be traced. Just don't do it.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
Experience with the Mosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. They let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
MosleyMD.com.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
All right, it is the Mosley Show, and we have lots to get to. And I'll tell you what, Kev, let's do some, and let's get that C&B up there, by the way. Oh, I love it. I love Central National Bank. That's a smaller version. But let's do some Campus Confidential. All right. And that is when Kevin brings up some things. I'm going to react to what Kevin has to say. I'm sure some of it will have to do with tonight's CFP game. His beloved Indiana Hoosiers take on the Oregon Ducks. Kevin, it really, there's a lot of ways to look at this game, but the more I look at it, it's just, when Indiana wins on third down, and they do it in almost every game they play. Penn State almost beat them, and in that game, the recipe for Penn State was better on third down than Indiana was. And but Indiana is
except for maybe one play.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about overall.
Yep.
And I would say that from a stop rate, like on third down, Indiana's like second best in the country, and third down offense from a success rate, number one in the country. So, they're great at stopping you on third down, and they're great at converting on third down. And they won a lot of games huge. Now, the Oregon game was a bit of a closer game. And honestly, Indiana wasn't great on third down in that game. The good thing for Indiana is Oregon was horrible on third down in that game too. So you had two offenses that really weren't performing beautifully that day. And I'll tell you what Oregon did, if I've got the right game, I think it was the Oregon-Indiana game, is they held the Indiana running backs down in that game. I think Indiana, their two-star running backs had Himby's one of them, right? They had
and Kalen Black.
Yeah, Black. They had like 26 carries, combined 26 carries for just barely over 100 yards, which is way under what they normally do. So these are some of the things that I'm paying attention to. Again, it doesn't mean this game's going to get – a lot has happened since that first matchup, but that's kind of the way that thing was being played out. Dante was not great in that game. Fernando made some mistakes in that game, one in particular, but Indiana ends up winning that game 30-20. And I think that was the obviously it wasn't a playoff game, but that was the game that everybody's like, oh, dang. Oh, wait, because from you being a longtime Indiana fan, Kevin, that everybody's constantly wanting to doubt Indiana and waiting for the other shoe to drop and go, wait, when are they going to act like the Indiana teams of old? And I think we've accepted the fact that doesn't exist anymore. Like, they may lose tonight, but I don't think it's because they went back to being Indiana. It just means Oregon had a better game plan, or Oregon outplayed them, or something. I have a hard time thinking that this platform tonight, the Peach Bowl, which, by the way, is so funny to me because the Peach Bowl for years was just something they'd do at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and it was a fine bowl game. It wasn't that big of a bowl game. And then, lo and behold, however many years ago, they got put in rotation. And it's like, whoa, the Peach Bowl, that's a big deal. But as somebody said the other day, and it might have been, what was Landing or Signetti? Somebody made the point, I thought it was a fair point, that these are not bowl games at this point. They may call them that, but they're just certainly not treated like any bowl game that we used to think, where the players are getting, they're getting some cool stuff, and the fans are doing this and doing that. Fans are still having a great time, but this is just flat out like the NFL, hardcore, cutthroat playoffs is what this is about. And there's not much fun being had. I'm not saying at night they're not having nice meals and trying to do some team building, but this is not, let's all go to the prime rib place and try to eat the most steak. This is a little different atmosphere. Okay, Kev, where do we want to start today with Campus Confidential?
All right. Xavier, you mentioned it earlier. Xavier Lucas was ejected from the fourth quarter of last night's Miami win, and that resulted in the fact that he cannot play the first half of the national championship game because of the targeting call. You kind of alluded to, you kind of mentioned it, but what are your thoughts on the call of the targeting? So much of it is subjective, but then the fact that now he has to miss the first half of a national championship game does not at least seem fair to me. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you in mostly in the sense of the I had to turn on my light back there, Kev. Really get some light on the subject. I may shave this weekend, by the way. I think I'm looking a little scraggly. I think that the targeting rules are just hard to interpret. I don't know if they need to be rewritten. One that looked like targeting to me, lead with a helmet, forcible contact to the head or neck area, was ruled not targeting on number 29 for Ole Miss. And then in this instance, the second half, the player from Miami who you just alluded to, Xavier, what's our man's name?
Xavier Lucas.
That's right.
Yep.
I guess they said he launched himself. What is launching? I mean, like, you have to sometimes be on the run to make a tackle, right? I mean, did he? I mean, what's the difference in launching and then not launching? I think it's very subjective, and I think it's hard to call. So, yeah, I think it's unfair, and I think it's also unfair that the people watching the sport and even calling the sport don't really seem to have a great feel for it, because we'll watch one get called targeting and one not, and it just doesn't totally make sense. So, to me, I've just decided, well, all of it, if you lead with your helmet and you go straight to the head, like, why are those not all targeting? Now, I know it's a little different sometimes whether the guy's defenseless or not. I'll say this, Kev. There were some great hits in that game. You know, we've kind of almost gotten away from we're so worried about safety, and I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. Right. But you don't really see those like crazy hard hits as much anymore.
John
that
Lynch
game
would not
had
be
a
able to
lot.
survive in football today.
No, and like Lambert and a lot of those Steelers players. But whoa, that game had some major hits, and I thought Tony, to be able to come back, I thought Malachi Tony was going to have to leave that game, and I thought, I don't know if he's going to come out of that concussion protocol. It wasn't that long before he was back out there. So
it's also the fact of when it happens, first half or second half, and then the fact that he has to miss the national championship game for the first half. It seems.
Are you saying if it had happened in the first half, he would not, right?
Right.
Is that right?
He would have missed the second half of he would have been eligible for the national championship game.
Now,
it reminds me of like the World Cup. You used to get a certain number of yellow cards. You have to miss games, but it kind of resets at some point so that they're not penalized in these gargantuan games.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like to apply this. This is not the regular season. This is the national title game. Should whenever the national title game is, we're what, 9-10 days away from that. Whenever, right. I mean, these things take forever. So, I mean, I'm trying to think how this would work in the NFL. First of all, they don't really they only eject people for like true fighting, or maybe like it really has to be like a punch or something thrown.
Or touching an official.
Correct. But what I don't know is, in that case, is that now you may get a fine or you may even get a suspension for a game or two, but there's no automatic you're out for the next half, right? In the NFL. All right. I would love for them to revisit. I think right now the NCAA is too busy. I mean, turning down Trinidad Chambliss in his 6th year at Ole Miss. I hate that for him, because on some guys it's like, okay, why do some guys get 7 years? I mean, Carson Beck has been around forever, and then a guy who spent a portion of his career at Ferris State Division II gets 1 year of D1. They're like, nope, sorry, can't come back for a 6th year.
You
okay,
ready?
Make it.
Scotty gave me a stat today. I saw Scotty today. He said that Malachi Toney was 11 years old when Carson Beck was a freshman in college.
Malachi Toney, who's probably like 18 years old right now as a true freshman.
Right.
That Carson, he was 11 when Carson Beck was a freshman. Yeah. It makes total sense. These guys spend forever. Diego Pavia, same way. I mean, they get the JUCO ruling on some of these guys.
Yep.
Yeah, talking about a guy who got overexposed. Poor old Pavia.
Poor old Pavia. He stuck his foot in his mouth after the Heisman.
Money can't buy you class. Money can't buy you class. I know.
All right.
He's a fun character, though. The other guy, but I like him better than freaking, a 35-year-old Johnny Manziel still out there putting out videos. Did you watch any of that?
No.
He's still posting videos trying to explain why he didn't show up for game day when A&M played Miami. It's an embarrassment. You just have to let that go. And yet he's like, I was so sick. Yeah, you were sick because you were partying your rear off.
Uh-huh. Yeah, some people call that a hangover.
Yeah.
Next one is a little bit of a trivia for you. LSU has signed Jordan Ross, the edge rusher from Tennessee, but LSU is not the top committed school thus far in the portal. Who is, according to 24/7 Sports, who has the most commits in the portal this year?
Oh, you're saying not the best. The best class, the team that has brought in the most already?
Yep. And I'll give you two, because they're third, so I'll give you either two that are ahead of them.
By the way, we need to do a Schmaltz's trivia question, okay? We got to stay on that. Today is Friday. We usually do that on Thursday, but we'll do that a little bit later. Interesting. The most players brought in to the portal, I'm going to say Oklahoma State.
You got it. That is number one.
Wow.
Number two is also...
2 free sandwiches to Schmaltz's for me.
There you go. Number two is also a team that had a coaching switch, Penn State.
Interesting. Okay.
There you go.
So Penn State now has Matt Campbell. Interestingly, both of those schools have a ton of, coming in from their old schools. Like Iowa State, tons of Iowa State kids have now gone to Penn State, and same with UNT. The UNT kids have started to show up in Stillwater. Okay, interesting. What else do you have?
All right,
I'm enjoying this.
There you go. Is it best to build a? This relates to the game tonight. Is it best to build a college roster through high school recruits or the transfer portal? Make a choice. You cannot choose both. This leads to tonight because Oregon goes a lot through the high school recruits, whereas Indiana has capitalized on the transfer portal and bringing in vet guys. So in your opinion, which is the best way to build a college football roster?
See, the easy cop out is to say you've got to have the hybrid. I still think you need 15 high school kids and the rest through the portal. The one thing I can answer definitively for you is that you really need to find your quarterbacks in the portal. Why in the world wouldn't you try to go get somebody that has experience rather than just kind of let a guy slowly but surely come up? The old way of doing things no longer exists. It's very rare to get somebody and Dante Moore.
If you have a Manning, it does.
I don't know.
But there aren't many of those out there.
That hadn't even worked out that well. I mean, it's not act like he's been that great there. Where was Dante Moore before?
Dante Moore sat behind Dylan Gabriel last year in the same system at the same university. Very rare.
But are we saying that Dante has not played anywhere else?
No, I just know he was there last year.
I just wanted to see real quick where Dante Moore. What year is Dante?
UCLA before that.
Dante was at UCLA. Okay. Yeah. It's almost impossible to find a top flight quarterback right now that has come up and stayed where he started. Like, did Carson Beck started at Georgia, right? He started his career at Georgia and actually had a long. What's funny is people act like. Well, double check me on that. I think so. I think he spent his freshman year at Georgia, and then several years after that, people are acting like he overcame all this adversity.
That's correct, yep.
He at Georgia. I mean, think about all the championship game. I mean, like, and I know he was banged up last year, but God, he started a ton of games and had a pretty great experience at Georgia. I don't know, other than people just kind of being ready for him to move on. I don't know of all this like incredible adversity that he faced. So anyway, that's interesting. I would say I think at this point, if you're solely going either way, you're doing it wrong. You've got to find the right hybrid. And I think the only teams that can truly build still the program through the recruiting are the Alabamas and Georgias and just the highest of the high. Everybody else is going to try to bring in people from everywhere. I saw one thing I think you'll love. It was every year the national champion. There's a guy from CBS that looks to see like where all the recruits have come from and like their rankings and all that kind of thing. And for years and years, the national champion has always been a team that had at least a roster that's 50% full of what we would call blue chippers. All right. And that means like 4-star and 5-star. So when you think about all the national champions of recent years, Ohio State, Michigan before them, we're talking 50% or more blue chippers. Indiana's roster, as of today, when this guy did the research, 8% blue chippers. So I think it's a really cool experiment we have, even in tonight's game, because Oregon does fit into a 50% or more blue chipper deal, because they get unbelievable recruits. Now, Indiana obviously has brought in some great recruits, and now that they have more money, their high school recruiting is going to get even better. But in terms of Surratt, Mendoza, when we go back to Cooper, perhaps, you can name all these defensive players, tons of 3-stars, right? I mean, this is not like a ton of like 4- and 5-star kids. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find any 5-stars on that roster. Guys that were 5-stars coming out of high school. Now, we think of them now as 5-star type players because they're incredible. Let me ask you this, and I want to get to whatever else other one you have. How many players off this year's Indiana team have been invited to the NFL Combine? You know,
that is a good question.
We need to look at that.
I don't think that those combine numbers are out just yet.
The invites are out. Are out. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm also thinking it'll be interesting to see, like, between Oregon and Indiana, which team has the most players drafted, because Indiana's about to see a major uptick, because even if they're kids that aren't like the greatest player on the Indiana team, because of the success of the team, those players are going to get pushed up some in the draft. The sad thing is, I heard somebody say it the other day, Stephen Jones said it at the Cowboys press conference. He basically made the statement, Kev, that like, well, we don't really look at group of 5 teams anymore because all those great players from group of 5 have ended up on the Power 4 rosters. Now, I still think you need to be looking at those teams because not every player comes up, but it's an interesting thing to hear a personnel man from the NFL say that hey, we don't look at this anymore. What else do you have, sir?
All right, last one for you. Again, kind of based on last night and tonight. The Big Ten is 9-4 in bowl games this year, 3-1 versus the SEC. The ACC is 9-4, including 4-0 against the SEC. Now, the SEC in bowl games is 3-8 total, and only 1-6 when not playing each other in the game, which means the SEC has only won one bowl game, and that was against the Big Ten. That was Texas over Michigan, with Texas something to prove since they didn't make the CFP. So, which is the best conference? Is the SEC done as the best conference, quote unquote? And who is the best conference as of not the past, forget the history and the legacy, right now?
Big Ten is the best right now. I think I told you this the other day when you brought some of these records up. I don't get into bowl records. Now, what I do get into is the fact that now we know for sure, with Ole Miss being beaten by Miami, that for the third straight year, an SEC team will not win the national title. Now, is it third straight season that they won't play? I'm trying to think. Who did Ohio State play last year in the title game?
Texas.
No.
Ohio State played Texas.
They didn't play Texas in the national title game. Anyway, it'll be the third straight. I'll look back and see who everybody played. But it will be the third straight season.
They played Notre Dame. That's right. Yeah.
That an SEC team will not win the national title. Now, what I need to look back at, look back the season before that, Kev. The Ohio, Michigan,
Washington.
Michigan, Washington. Yeah. But and then before that, TCU gets drilled
by Georgia. Yep. So that would be the last.
Wait, that's the last time an SEC team's played for the national title?
Yep. 2023, 3 years ago.
Wow. So that, to me, that's a bigger indicator than just. I just don't. Not everybody's into these bowl games, and so I just don't hold. I think it's funny, and I love making fun of the SEC, but I don't quite. But I mean, you go 3 straight years without playing for a national title game. I mean, and things have changed. Think about the things that have changed. Saban is not there anymore. Huge change. Now, even since he was there, Clemson's no longer really in the mix. They were really big. So right now, I mean, there's been a sea change because I don't know. We'll see what Whittingham does with Michigan. But right now, we have a new player involved. Like, until further notice, Indiana's got a seat at the table. So you've got the monsters of college football right now are Georgia, Miami, Ole Miss, Indiana, and Ohio State, and just not. I think Tech. I think you've got to mention Texas Tech until they run out of money, which is not going to happen anytime soon. And what they did is they go, we didn't have the right quarterback, we didn't have the right offense. That'll never happen to us again. It'll never happen to us again. And so each year they're going to spend huge money to make sure they have a great quarterback. And the thing that I would like to tap the brakes a little bit with Tech is we think Sorsby's good. We don't know that Sorsby's great.
Yeah.
We think the same thing with Sam Levitt. He had a nice run as a true freshman. I don't think he was that great this year. Gets hurt. Just because he goes to LSU doesn't mean he's great.
It's like you said the other day. He's lots of moxie, but can he produce? Time will tell.
Yeah, but with Indiana, because of Rourke and the lefty before Rourke, they have two straight lefties. Penix, and then Fernando. We just sort of. I mean, it's like you could have told me that a kid from Yale or Harvard was showing up. I've been like, yeah, I'd give that guy the Heisman next year. Hoover will put up enormous. Hoover. Okay, let me just say this. This last thing, then we need to take a quick break, and then we'll give our predictions. Hoover, I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman, and I'm not saying even Indiana's going to be as good next year. Hoover will put up better numbers than Mendoza. Love Fernando, love the season he's had. But whatever the number is, and you may have it in your mind, and of course, if we count all these playoff games, you've got to go deep to get the numbers up very high. Hoover will surpass Fernando. Doesn't mean I'm saying he's a better quarterback, but he will put up bigger numbers. He's unbelievable. Now, is he the winner that Fernando is? We will find out. He was not at TCU, but he will be surrounded with better talent, better offensive line, and sorry, Sonny, but better coaching. All right, Kev, let's give our takes. Let's give our predictions for tonight's game, and then we got the wild card weekend to get ready for. Let's do that next.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's internxt.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
Experience with the Mosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
MosleyMD.com.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
Okay, back on the Mosley Show. Thank you, Kev, for making that quick because we got to say goodbye here in a minute. And by the way, Brazos Landing, the landing. At the very end of the show, we always discuss the wonderful food and the atmosphere there at Brazos Landing. Kevin, I've got those pulled up too, so we can run through them. I'll let you lead us through them if you want to. We're going to hit the wild card matchups real quick, and man, so much to get to. And Kev, let's start with that Saturday game. It's a 3:30 kickoff. Rams at Panthers. Kev, the latest I'm seeing is Rams by 10.5. Isn't that sad that the Rams have to go to Carolina? What a joke. I would love for it to be a decent game, but
you know who's back? You know who's back in Carolina?
Who's that?
I'll give you a hint. He's back.
He's back.
Cam Newton. Cam Newton's going to be back, like pounding the drum. Special guest.
Okay. That hit didn't really do it for me.
When he came back for like that, those few games,
that's right.
against the Bears.
Right.
All right.
By the way, the Rams rank second in run block win rate, while the Panthers are 32nd in run stop win rate, and 26 in EPA allowed per design run. So something has to give. Give me the Rams to win and the Rams to cover the 10.5.
Yeah, I agree. The Rams all day. I mean, especially Devontae's back. What Stafford's been able to do pretty much almost the entire season, or most of the season, without either Puka or Devontae, and now he's got both of them back. It's not even going to be a contest.
All right, Packers at Bears. That's Saturday night game. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff on Prime Video, Amazon Prime. Make sure you have your streaming ready for that. Green Bay favored by 1.5. This is basically a pick'em game, and
there's a winter storm coming into Chicago. It could be a whiteout.
Wow. I mean, this. I'm trying to think of these past games between the two teams. And the Bears trailed 14-3 and 6-0 at halftime in those teams' regular season games. That's going to be interesting to see. Give me the Bears at home. I like the Bears. I like the road teams in the NFC, but I just don't love this Green Bay team. I think they've struggled a lot this season. Very fortunate to be in the playoffs, tied the Cowboys, a Cowboys team that's not very good, obviously. Give me the Bears to win that at home.
To me, this is a disgrace of a odds against the Bears at home and what they've been able to do in close games and miracle wins this season. So it's the Bears all the way.
Okay. You are taking the Bears. Bills at Jags on Sunday. That's the noon game. And this is a great one. This is maybe the best matchup. Bills with Josh Allen. I think he's got a lot of pressure on him because with Mahomes out of this thing, you have fewer players standing in his way that are usually there. And this is a great opportunity for the Bills to break through, although the Jags have had a great season with Liam Cohen. Buffalo Bills favored by 1.5 in this. Give me Allen and give me the experience of the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills win and the Bills cover the 1.5.
See, as a division rival fan, I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. The idea that he's only playoff game, he threw 4 interceptions in the first half and still able to come back and then hit the Waffle House afterwards. It's at home, you would think, but it's Josh Allen. You said it's his best opportunity, but I don't trust I don't trust the fact that they don't have anything besides Josh Allen and Cook, and so I'm going to say the Jags get this one done at home.
Okay, you've got the Jags defending their home field. Now, Sunday afternoon at 3:30 kickoff, Niners at the Eagles. Another great one because the Niners have been playing great. Seems kind of unfair that they have to go on the road against the Eagles team that's kind of flopped around for a lot of this year. But these are the defending champs. They're the defending champs until they're beaten. And they will host this, and that will be a raucous environment. And, the Eagles defense, even with the uneven offense, has continued to perform pretty well this season. We'll see what Purdy can do on the road in a tough environment. Although I'm hearing it's kind of warm in Philly, believe it or not, on Sunday afternoon, unseasonably warm, I might add. The line on this game is the Eagles by 4.5. Give me the Niners to cover. I want Niners to cover, and I want Niners to win outright on the road in Philly at the Link.
All right, so we pick all these games on our podcast, and we're getting a lot of hate from the Eagles fans, as you might expect, because Eagles fans are Eagles fans, and they're disgusting. I grew up watching the Colts absolutely suck in the early slot, and then watching Joe Montana and Jerry Rice carve up defenses every afternoon. That was my childhood, and so I love the Colts, but I'll be right back. Hold on.
We have something. I think we have like visual aids or something that's coming up. Were you gonna? Do you have props or something for this? Oh, he put his Niners. Wait, why do you? Do you like the Niners? I thought you said you grew up watching the Colts. You're the
Colts and the Niners.
That was your NFC team or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
And so we said in our podcast, and we stand by it, the Eagles have been lucky all year, just like the Chiefs were last year. And so when they're met with a true challenge of a team that has seen adversity all season and still come through it, go Niners.
Okay. All right. Sunday night at 7. All right. You're going to leave your 49ers cap on for the remainder of the show. Chargers. Okay. Sunday night, 7 o'clock kickoff. This is on Peacock, and I guess NBC and Peacock. Chargers, or is this a Peacock exclusive? Anyway, Chargers at Patriots. All right. This is going to be a fascinating. Patriots are favored by 3.5. Go ahead and give me the, I just don't, Herbert, love him. He's had some really good moments. I like Jim Harbaugh in this spot. I do. Herbert's got more experience than May, but man, Vrabel will not be intimidated at all. And Drake May's been playing beautifully. Give me the Patriots to win and the Patriots to cover the 3.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Drake May has been on a tear, and Vrabel has this Patriots team playing like the Patriots team that he was on. So you can't argue with that. You know, you got Drake May throwing to who? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. And so I unfortunately have the Patriots winning this one.
The Monday night game, 7:15 kick, Texans at the Steelers. Steelers has had such a great season. They so deserve to have a home game. Give me a break. But they did go ahead and take care of the Ravens by virtue of the Ravens missing a field goal. And the Texans are favored in this one by 3. The road team favored. I don't totally trust either one of these teams. Rodgers certainly has way more experience than Stroud. I still like the Texans to get this done on the road at the Steelers. Give me the Steelers. Give me the Texans to win and the Texans to cover.
All right. So I'm going to say, again, as a divisional fan, I don't trust Houston any more than I can throw them. I think that Houston has a better chance with Davis Mills at quarterback than they do CJ Fraud. And so give me the Steelers winning their first playoff game since, I think, 18. I'm not sure if I'm correct on that. But so Mike Tomlin's going to finally get one done. Give me the home team, the Steelers.
All right. And by the way, Will Anderson, the edge rusher for the Texans, recorded 62 pass rush wins this season. Whoa, second most in the NFL. All right, there's our wild card. We've gone overtime here on tonight's game. Put your other cap back on. All right, this is his true. He's a man for all seasons, but he's got his Indiana cap back on. Indiana, what's the latest line on this game? Indiana's obviously favored. Yeah.
I think it's 4.5 for Indiana.
All right. I think it's extremely hard to beat a team twice. I do think Signetti's wired differently.
The last time it was done, Alabama beat Georgia in 21 in two different instances.
Two different. Okay. Give me Indiana to win, but give me Oregon to cover.
All right. I say all the time on our podcast, I am not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious, and so hardly ever will you see me actually pick Indiana. But this is going to be a close one. I will give you this. I said it on our podcast. 36-34. I think it goes into a double overtime, all touchdowns scored, and Indiana loses on a failed 2-point conversion in double overtime when they're forced to do it.
Are you picking against your team just at some, you're trying to influence the thing?
It's a little what do they call it? Reverse psychology there.
Yeah, okay. Very, very interesting. Yeah.
I still think that the better matchup, but as you mentioned, it's so difficult. I think Oregon went into the first game thinking, oh, it's Indiana and we're at home, and we just don't lose at home, and not knowing what Indiana was. Last year, Signetti was hired, and people were like, who? And then they made it to the playoffs, and then they got beat, and they were like, who? And then the start of this year, they were like, who? And then they find out, who, Hoosiers. That's who they are.
Okay, there he goes. He's confused the entire audience, picking against his beloved team just to try to influence the outcome. It'll be great tonight. All these wildcard games, Monday nights will occur, of course, after we do our Monday show. We'll react to everything, though. We'll have who knows what. Oh, I do want to share this with you, Kevin, and I'll get you the information of where we need to send our links and everything. But Baylor's new athletic director, longtime friend of mine, Doug McNamee, will join us Monday to start the show, 1 o'clock. We'll go live at 1. Worries me. I just saw the lights go on and off here, so hopefully we'll be good to go. But Doug McNamee with Baylor's new athletic director, his first interview, and it'll be great to have him on. That will be at 1 o'clock on Monday, and we may get his take on some of the wild card games and CFP and the whole thing. So anyway, great. It'll be great to have him, and I know everybody will look forward to that. For Kevin and myself and Kevin and I and the Rogue Media Network, it is Matt Mosley. We will talk to you soon.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud. Here's a tip. If you receive a call from someone claiming to be from a company, don't give them your personal information, ever. Unless you know them personally, hang up and call the company back on a verified number.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. us.muc-off.com.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.